Okay, so this is starting us out for the double exposure effect in Photoshop for our Faces of Collinwood project. So the first thing you need to do is have one of your portraits pulled up. This is a little bit older picture of me, why I don't have blonde hair in there. So first thing, go to image and image size. We want to make sure our resolution is a nice, easy size to work with. So mine's 72. I'm going to change it to 200, at least 200. If you want to do 300, you can, but at least 200 for our resolution, and then click OK. It will obviously zoom it in. So go to your zoom tool, fit it to your screen so you can see everything. And now we need to delete the background. So any which way you feel most comfortable doing it is fine. I like to use the quick selection tool. If you already know how to do this and you're comfortable doing this, then go ahead and skip this part of the video and you can fast forward and come back to the end when I go over the black and white. So that is perfectly fine to do. So the plus will add, the minus will take away selections. So I have some stuff I didn't mean to select. I can get rid of it. And as you guys probably know, that you can go through and do this for quite a while. I'm not going to be too picky right now for the sake of time and keeping these videos a reasonable length. So mine that looks pretty okay. And remember, you can you undo that. You can go back. I'm going to go back with the eraser tool and get rid of the stuff I didn't mean to get that is ended up getting selected. So once you have your portrait selected, you need to select the inverse. So get the background deleted by going to select an inverse. I'm sorry, the background selected. So now the marching ants are on the background. Unlock your layer over here and then just hit delete and you'll get your white and gray checkerboards. Control D gets rid of your marching ants. We're going to start with a white background. So if you come down to your new layer icon, drag it to the bottom. And then if you remember from the last project, whatever your foreground color is, if you hit Alt and delete, you can fill this layer with your foreground color. So make sure it's white. If it's not, click on it, select white, click OK, and then hit Alt Delete, and it will fill this layer with that color. So let's rename them for best practice so we don't get confused. I'm just name this one Portrait. I'm going to name this one White. And then I'm going to go back to my portrait. So now I can get my eraser tool and touch up those raggedy looking edges. Remember, up here is where you can change. You could have soft edges, you can have hard edges, you can change the size that you're using right up there. So I'm just going to quickly refine these edges a little bit, make them a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. You don't have to be too picky, because of the nature of, we're going to be blending an image into this, but you do want to have your edges to not look super unfinished like this. So especially around if you're doing like a profile. Mine is kind of a 3/4 view, but you definitely want to make sure around the face you take your time, take more time to refine those edges. So I'm gonna doing this rather quickly. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now we're going to adjust the contrast and brightness. So if you come up to image adjustments, brightness and contrast, we want these to be a little bit overexposed looking, meaning like you put too much light in it. So I'm gonna kick my brightness almost all the way over. There's no right or wrong number. I can't tell you a number to plug in here because it depends on what you're starting with. But you want it to be, you want to be able to see some details still, but have your like lights and whites pretty bright. So mine are pretty much like the contrast is almost all the way to the left and brightness is almost all the way to the right. And then I'm going to click OK. And we're going to do something a little bit differently. We're going to make a clipping mask, which is really easy. You're going to come down, instead of the way we usually turn something black and white, there's an adjustment layer, and it's a circle icon that looks like it's kind of half filled in. If you click on that, and it'll give you all these adjustments that you're familiar with seeing. Click on black and white. And then instead of the default one, click this drop down, and high contrast blue works well for this. So it darkens it up a little bit. We can go back and adjust this if we need to. Okay, so we want this black and white adjustment layer to only affect this one. So if you put your cursor right in between here and you hold down the Alt key, you'll see a bent arrow, like pointing down. If you click, you'll see it add it to that layer. So then this is a clipping mask, so it's only going to affect, the black and white's only going to affect this layer, what's under it. So next step is to open your image of Cleveland, Collinwood, your neighborhood, a landscape, cityscape that you have. Open it in a new tab and start out the next video for the next steps on that one.